what did you decide on, David?
So for the first sentence, my background knowledge tells me that the numbers 3 and 5 aren't objects, they aren't destinations, they aren't locations, they aren't targets, they're just numbers. Of all these frames, the only one that's looking for just numbers is the frame to subtract. So I chose take 8 as the meaning for the first sentence. So for the second sentence, my background knowledge tells me first that I'm an agent, that my briefcase is an object, and that work is a destination. So if I then try to map those three things to the various different categories here, I find that the only one that works is take 2. I am an agent, my briefcase is an object, and work is a destination. So the third sentence is a good bit more complicated. I still know that I am an agent, I know that the casino is a place of business, and I know that $5 million could be considered a prize or an object. So that gets me down to take 6 or take 7. Take 6 is to steal, and take 7 is to cheat or swindle, which are subtly different. But my background knowledge of the idea of source said that sources were usually indicated by the preposition from. If I took $5 million from the casino, then the casino would be a source. But I don't have from in front of the casino here, so I'm not going to regard it as a source. Instead, I'm going to go with take 7.
That's an interesting analysis, David. Thank you. First of all, congratulations on becoming rich. I didn't know that you were going to become rich teaching this course. Of course, there are several other points to note here. One point is that you have a lot of background knowledge associated with the word for, perhaps because you're a native speaker of the English language. Not everyone may associate the same kind of background knowledge with for and may not be able to disambiguate between these two.
That actually gets to an underlying element of the problem as well, that these two meanings are themselves very similar. So it makes sense that it's more difficult to disambiguate between very similar meanings than disambiguating between stealing and medicating, for example.
Another point to note here is that although we have been discussing about stories written in English language, this kind of analysis applies to all languages. Note also that so far we have been using sentences in the English language. But actually this kind of analysis works irrespective of the language we are using. So I'm originally from India and my mother tongue is Hindi, and we can write the sentences in Hindi and the same kind of analysis will work that is working here for the word take in English. This raises a few questions. Might this kind of analysis work for translation from one language to another language? If the different languages have similar kind of structures, then this analysis might help us translate sentences from one language to another language. Here is another question. Do all languages have the same kind of structure that enables mine to make use of the structure of the sentences to disambiguate between verbs?
Feel free to take up that discussion over on our forums, especially if you yourself don't speak English as a first language. You might be particularly aware of the different structures present in English compared to whatever language you speak natively.